So for the next 50 minutes, we'd like to have a conversation, all right? And one of the things that we obviously that you like to do here on Fixing the Nation is to have an opportunity where our community of fixers gets to have a conversation and to engage and to see what do we need to do to fix this nation going forward. Today, we want to have such a conversation. We'd like you to call in. We'd like you to post in a WhatsApp message. We'd like you to go onto our social media platforms on Nation FM and NTV Kenya, on X, on Instagram, on YouTube and Facebook, and post a comment there, and we shall sample them as we go on in this conversation. So imagine this. Imagine you had an opportunity to meet with the President of the Republic of Kenya, and you had, that cup of tea where he sought your counsel. What would you tell him? Or he just said, come, let's talk. What's going on? Let me hear what you're thinking. What would you tell him? Now, because we'd like you to remain cautious so we can have a constructive conversation, let's say that you are meeting with the President and not necessarily William Ruto, the President of Kenya. Today, what would you tell him about what's going on, what you're going through, and what you'd like to see happen? What did you tell him about a solution that you'd like for fixing the nation, to fix this nation of ours? There are many.
There are many. Let's start with Stephen Kosira. Dear Mr. President, being in leadership position doesn't mean that one has monopoly of wisdom, knowledge. Listen to the advice of others. Please stop advising your advisors, lest history will judge you harshly. Still, Mike the One. Dear Mr. President, the cost of living is unbearable. Corruption remains rampant. Youth are unemployed, and insecurity is rising. We are hurting. The promises made feel distant from the reality we face daily. That's a good one. He went into the issues and into feeling like it's distant from reality. This is on YouTube. That's from Still Mike the One and from Stephen Kosira. And a few of you are already continuing to chime in to talk about what you would indeed tell the President, much like Eric has said, about what it is you're experiencing, what you're feeling, and what you would like to see done.
And we'll thread on some of the replies. Alex Mwenda Kirimi says, if you keep coffee prices at over 100 shillings per kg and get the Chinese to buy our macadamia, we can revisit. Agriculture over the last few years, we saw fake fertilizer, but we've also seen some significant moves, especially with the prices of coffee, tea, some maybe good bargains. I would love to hear from farmers actually. How much did you last sell your coffee or your tea at? Were you happy with that? I know there was some happiness. I'm hoping that it's a continuing conversation. But yeah, finding markets for us abroad. Amazing thing that could happen. We have so much to export. So he did say, yes, keep the coffee at 100 shillings per kg and above. And then, of course, find Chinese buyers for our macadamia. Specifically Chinese, or you just want buyers for the macadamia?
It's basically saying sort out our agriculture, right? Like, align us to the market so we can reap the most we can for all the work that we're putting in our farming.
True.
African Nations on X says 4 points. 1, more work, less talk. 2, stop leaders from speaking nonsense on public platforms, both opposition and government. 3, stop competing with your predecessors and work on Kenya's issues. 4, stop borrowing without parliamentary approval. And 5, don't build a church on State House grounds.
We should unpack some of these points.
I agree.
Yes, you had something you wanted to share?
Yeah. On X, a lot of them are actually just saying resign. There's that's fact of the matter. Then someone, this is who says, we want our country, there's a comment I was looking for. Yes. Let's look through the economies. I'm trying to look for a comment that I've lost, but basically let's look through the economy with a fine-tooth comb and figure out what's not working, what is working. There's
Richard
also
Mogaka says, the president should focus on service delivery and stop engaging with opposition leaders. 2027 is still far. Wasting even a single second costs our economic growth so badly. So just focus on the work that you have, right? Just focus on the work then. If you must not respond to everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Right. We want a government that is delivering and not promising. That's Patrick Karanja. Delivering and not promising. We want a government that stops lying that it has delivered. Let we, the citizens, prove that indeed it has. So it's not you to say that we have delivered. It's us to feel and see. Right?
Tutajionea. Chema chajitembeza.
Chajitembeza. Yes.
Chema chajiuza.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Chema chajiuza.
Kibaya chajitembeza. Ayo basi.
Or is it the other way around?
Ayo tutajua. Ayo.
Now you've confused me by the way.
Mwalimu Paul.
I've completely confused.
Mwalimu Paul tuambie.
Philo, what is it? I'm sure Philo knows.
Wait, Wavinya alituambia? Wavinya alituambia.
Yaliondole sipite.
Yeah, yaliondole sipite. Let's move on.
Stop pointing fingers, especially to our parents, when you're the one who has failed to deliver what you promised. You keep blaming someone else for failure.
AKA gaslighting. Esli Nzomo with caps, in caps rather. Dear Mr. President, can we learn how to live a lifestyle that is comfortable for us and a life that we can afford? Can we please be frugal and spend our money wisely, or also borrow wisely to spend wisely? Robinson Kisero from Hong Kong. Dear Mr. President, the basic structure of a country is education and security. Once you topple education with favoritism, you create inequality and lose the morals of a country, please. So those are certain themes that are coming up: service delivery, corruption-free, education, equality.
Lots of people here are holding the president to account for promises he made during the campaigns. Eric Wamwangi says, Dear Mr. President, they're only asking what you promised them during campaigns. That's the young people being killed. You promised to stop corruption. You promised stop capture to end and to arrest and jail those who stole public resources and to uplift Mama Mboga. I believe those were key parts of the president's campaign promises. One was at a hustler economy, right? As a hustler, do you feel that anything has changed for the better, or do you feel worse off now? Extrajudicial killings, right? The disbandment of SSU, fine. We've just seen on the Taifa Leo. Yes, special service walitolewa. Sasa kuna kikosi kipya. Kuna vikosi, they just change names over time.
But the same mandate.
But the repression continues.
Yes.
The response to public citizen engagement continues to be repressive instead of listening. But then, somebody was making this argument the other day that we are almost about the halfway point of this term. Okay? And globally, if you look, you'll find that around the beginning of a term of a new leader, you know, they get a lot of leeway and they get a lot of, what's the word? People actually give them
a little
grace,
holiday,
extra grace, right? Like, it's okay, you've come in, so we give you all the trust you can deliver. Somewhere after that point, what happens is now the confidence levels automatically starts dipping.
Just dip,
every new day, because you're realizing that, okay, it's not changing.
Right.
I mean, today is not different from last week. Next week is not different from 2 weeks ago, and so on and so forth. But by the time you're getting to the halfway mark, that people usually you get the lowest approval ratings globally. That's usually the trend. Approval ratings dip, and then coming to an election, approval ratings now start changing, fluctuating, depending on a number of things, depending on the emotional connection, depending on the party affiliation, and so on and so forth.
And so, the policy changes as well?
And any policy changes that come in. So it's usually a very political, emotional kind of thing, that people will make a decision based on what they're feeling at that point, or people will express themselves based on what they're feeling at that point. But then, if we come here to Kenya, would we then say that, yes, the president and the administration could be facing a low confidence levels at this point, because recent opinion polls are indicating dipping approval ratings? Is this just the going with the cycle?
Cyclical nature.
Is it the cyclical nature of things? Or is there more to this? Is there more to this? Recently, and I know Wageshi and Philip are going to get us this clip. When the president spoke in Machakos over the weekend, he said, look, I made promises. I'm aware, and I'm completely, every day, I'm cognizant of the promises that I made, and I am following through with those promises, implementing them day by day. Is it that they communicate badly? That if we sat back and we looked and said, we have stabilized microeconomics. Inflation is contained. The exchange rate inflation is contained, and so on and so forth. We promised that we are going to work on agriculture. If you look at agriculture, we have put in a number of measures that now our sugar production is actually better than it was before. If you look at our maize production, it is better than it was before. If you look at our rice production, it is increasing, it's better than it was before, and so on and so forth. For the first time, we don't have to import sugar because we have actually produced enough sugar locally. If you look at that, maybe you can say, okay, agriculture-wise, there's some movement. The other promise was health. Health, I said, I'm going to implement the universal health coverage. So here we came in, put in the laws, put in a new institution, new entity. It started. It's wobbling, but it's moving. It's moving towards somewhere. Mistakes are happening, and we're correcting as we go, as we see the best we can do. The other thing that we promised was employment in the youth. So economy is not doing enough that can absorb the youth in employment. We are looking for other opportunities for employment, including the plan on foreign jobs and so on and so forth. Here's a clip of what he said on Sunday in terms of the promises he made and what he's doing about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So he says, okay,
it's on its way.
They say it's not yet ready, it's going to come. So I'm asking the question, is it that we, if you met with the president and you basically asked him all those questions, he answered you like that. He said, my promise was anchored on 5 things: agriculture, MSMEs, health, manufacturing and job employment, and the digital economy. In all these things, this is the progress I've made. What would you say?
That's a good question. I think we'd go through the scorecard. The agriculture that has seen significant growth as far as sugar, as far as prices for coffee, tea, is also the same agriculture that had fake fertilizer being sold. And from a public health perspective, from a corruption perspective, so incredibly problematic, right? So you have to juxtapose those two and then be honest. And then we look at other sectors outside sugar, coffee, tea. What happens to subsistence farmers, which is a majority of Kenyan farmers, by the way. A lot of people are not farming anything large scale. They are farming what they can eat and a little extra that they take to the market. MSMEs, and this is anecdotal knowledge from sitting here and speaking to business owners, they will tell you they have not had a harder business period than this. MSMEs will tell you that COVID was easier on them economically. And you have to wonder.
What gives?
Yeah.
The clip is ready, because I was going to say, sometimes, I think there's something to do with how you communicate. Because the president also needs to feel like an ally of the citizens. Once there seems to be a divide, then I think the narrative, the darker narratives outnumber the good ones. But let's listen in to him defending the promises he made and then come back and react.
The police are trained to deal with criminals. They are not trained in parenting. So, if you surrender your children to the police, what do you expect? Please. Every parent, including me, I take time to parent my children. And so must everybody. Sindio jameni? Yes. Unajua kwa muda mrefu tumekuwa tunakaa hapa average. Hapo average. We must stop being average. Yes, we must strive to be better and excellent. That is my mission. And I want to tell you, every promise I made, I intend to keep it in my term. Na watu wengine walikuwa wanajaribu kubagua wa Kenya, nyinyi hamuna shares, nyinyi hamuna shares, nyinyi hamuna hii. Nikamwambia hapana. This government belongs to all Kenyans, and we are going to treat all Kenyans equally.
I think it perhaps comes down to that, the nature in which the communication is put out. I mean, we cannot underscore everything that's happened in the last year. I think that has really darkened the presidency, whether it's the abductions, the killings, etc. He's on defense mode right now. That's how the president wants to carry on. He's in defense mode, feeling that people are coming for his scorecard, for his record, for his ability to carry through with promises. But then it takes away the collaborative nature of what it means when the president partners with the citizens. And I think that supersedes so many things, because it feels like you're being talked at. You're not being collaborated with. You're not saying, this is something we will do together. It's, I intend to keep the promise. We are going to together move the country forward. I think that, I'm doing PR 101.
Do it.
Yeah, we are. This country, when I made these promises, I made it so that we as Kenya can move forward to excellence, and we will continue to do our best to do ABCD. When you're talking at people and then condemning parents, first of all, parenting is hard. It's not bad, it's hard. I love to give that difference. I absolutely love parenting, but it's hard when you then condemn my version of parenting based on your version of what children and youth should be. We have a population that's so alive with potential and promise and courage and strength. We should be celebrating that. We should actually be saying, wow, we have really audacious Gen Z. They've demanded this. Okay, you know what? I've heard you. I know that this year has been ABCD, whatever it's been. I intend to make sure that we are able to understand each other and read from the same page. I feel like that would make a difference. But when you're scolding, talking at, defending, pushing back, and then kind of using all that to say the police are not trained to do ABCD, everything else, the scorecard that you're saying, kind of like just glazes over people, because they're saying, you're still talking at me, and you're not recognizing that I cannot find my brother. He's disappeared. I cannot bury my friend because he's dead, and there's contention over what's going on with him. I cannot continue running my business because there's not enough circulation of money. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't take my child to school. There's no capitation. When you're talking at me and there's all those mounting problems, then yeah, dear Mr. President, can you start by hearing me out? I think there's just like a barrier to how the communication is happening. So if you come on, it may make sense.
No,
You've made
really
a lot
well
of
put.
sense. And
Really
it goes
well put.
with what Japheth Ego has said. Mr. President, I challenge you as a citizen who refuses to kneel to mediocrity, but to do better. Not tomorrow, now. Start by cleaning your house. Cut the theatrics, drop the blame game, and give Kenyans value for the faith they placed in you.
Yeah, there you go.
That's very well put. What you said, Jano, is incredibly true, but I don't know if it lands, to be quite honest. The scolding, like you said, speaking to Gen Z as children, and we've talked about it again. These are young people, yes. Young is not a crime, but also they're young people asking for accountability. You're citizens, not your children. And there's a distinct difference in that. So whether you scold them or their parents doesn't change the calls for accountability, doesn't change what they're asking for. But I do think it's an attempt at infantilization, because again, in African contexts, children are heard, seen, not heard. It's just like you're there, you're there, you're there. But usingie stories are watu wazima. What he said as well about police are trained to deal with criminals. I don't think any parent, one, is surrendering their children to the state. They are either going out to demonstrate, which is their right, to protest, sorry, which is their right, and that is guaranteed, right, peaceably and unarmed. They are going out to either do that, or they're just finding themselves going about their business, going to school, going to pick up a sibling, and they're finding themselves in the crosshairs of gunfire. So no one is volunteering or, giving their children to the state. Also, when you say that police are trained to deal with criminals, again, I would love to know the manual at Kiganjo, and to know exactly what police training looks like, because I don't know, why did we shift from a police force to a police service? If it wasn't to be more people-centered, more civilian-centered, why this entire hullabaloo of we're moving, we're no longer the national police force, we're now the police service. So yeah, it's so many question marks.
So he's not alive to, okay, I don't want to use that term again.
Which one?
Is it tone deaf?
It's 2025 and so much has changed. And there's this trend happening globally. I was just, again, I think I shared with the two of you earlier that I was watching this piece about a president in one of the African countries who has served since 1982 or 86 to date. He's still the president. Older than the atomic bomb, older than, she really listed how much he's older.
Right.
But she also added something where she said, when you have been there that long or approach policies with the lens that you did in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and yet your population, median age in that country, I believe she said is 19 or 20, and then you're in your 90s. So everything that's happening, I think even as Eric was about to say tone deaf, there is an element, and I don't think they'll see it as that, but at the end of the day, this is a new wave of people with new needs. Maybe the needs are the same, but the approach is different.
Sure.
But when you're stuck in the ways of how things were communicated back then, I believe that's why we're seeing a rise in tensions between citizens and their presidents in very many parts of the world. It's almost like a wave of the 90s is coming back, and the people who are most affected, the younger people, are like, hey, not on my watch. Mbona unanishautia?
Yeah.
You know, the other day, one of my sons asked me why I shouted.
Oh, you were shouting.
something. No, like,
Were
you
you
guys...
shouting?
You
don't think you are, right?
I think I scolded. I did. I said, because I'm using this, I want to equate this to, I think the president sees us as a spoiled child. You know, so I said, you know, if you don't do this, this will happen. And he turned and said, okay, but must you shout? And he genuinely was like, do you have to shout or can you just say it? So first, of course, I was stunned.
And you called yourself for a meeting?
You know, you're like, do I go old-fashioned African mom or gentle parenting? So I caught myself and said, okay, maybe he has a point. So later when we're going to bed and I emphasized the same thing in a conversational tone, the older one said, was that hard? My point is, it doesn't discount that sometimes there's a place to scold.
Yes.
But I think the president sees the country as a spoiled child. And what do you do to spoil children? You punish them, you make noise at them, you scold them. At the end of the day,
you deal with the parents.
You deal with the?
You deal with the parents.
Yeah, you go and tell them.
You see that this child is actually misbehaving.
Also, therefore, the parent
you
must...
go to the parent and tell the parent, you know, your child, you better deal with your child. Mfunze. Because if you don't funza this child.
So maybe that's tone.
Someone is quoting, Chris Mavindo is quoting Willie Oweba here. I think this, and he's put a clip of one of Willie's poetry pieces. And he says, Mr. President, how come you're a doctor and the citizens cannot be treated right?
Yo, he really...
Isn't it easier to follow the Constitution than to charge Kenyans with terrorism? And he put like the clip, but yeah. And of course, it's poetry, and you know, he's alluding to that. But there's something there.
Oeba's actually, you remember, he even came and performed
it's
here,
Dear
right?
Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President.
I want to come back to what Eric was saying earlier when he was listing some of the wins. Gerald Njori is saying, Dear Mr. President, I love your work. Continue doing what others are afraid of doing. You're God sent. Okay.
He has said that himself, the president.
That
he has actually said, if you just track back into the president's speeches, one of the words that you're going to hear is transform. Okay?
Yeah.
I am on a journey of transforming this country. This country requires transformation. Transformation shall not come easy. Then the other one is you have to make difficult decisions. And the difficult decisions that I'm making is because this country must be transformed. We have been sitting on our laurels for too long. In various, variations of this, he has said, we have been, we've not been ambitious enough. That's what he said on Sunday.
Right.
We've got to expand our ambitions. We've got to think big. We've got to aim higher, right? And that is transformation. So he has been saying that he's on a journey of transforming the country. And in the journey of transformation, difficult decisions have got to be made. And many times in the past, I think he has reduced that now. He's talked about, equating this country to the East Asian tigers, Singapore in particular. This was what was happening when we were, a young country and when Singapore was a young country. It took a resolute leader to move that country forward into what was happening. You know, Lee Kuan Yew did not have to, you know, engage with. He was like, this is the journey. He had to make difficult decisions, and that's what he's saying he's doing. He's making difficult decisions. Do we understand that? Does he make us understand that, or does he say that you'll understand it by and by? 20 years from today, you'll look back and you'll be like, or 40 years from now, you'll be reading the story of Singapore and Lee Kuan Yew, and then you'll be reading the story of Kenya with William Ruto.
It's hard to...
Is that what is in his mind? That I'll have done my bits?
It's hard to hear it when people are unalived. I don't know how else to put it. I know that there's some people who say you cannot unalive folks and lead them. And I think the biggest blemish here is that's one of the biggest blemishes.
Yep.
You want to show me the transformation. Where is the access to justice? Because I think that can drown out anything else that you try to say. And you know what? I like how you've mentioned some of the wins. I guess when Eric was talking about the different industries. Yeah, at some point we can look at that. I think it's important.
And it's fair.
It's fair. It's really hard to hear you over the noise of abductions,
Of everything
etc.,
else.
everything else. There's a caller?
No,
There's a call on the line.
Yeah.
Kago from Githunguri is on the line. He wants to chime in. Good morning, Kago.
Yeah, morning to you.
How are you, and what is your contribution to Dear Mr. President?
My contribution is that if the people you are reading come to you and bring their grievances to you, the best solution is not actually to shoot them, but the best solution is actually to talk to them and know where the problem is. And the truth of the matter is that the problems are in black and white. Because the first problem is corruption. And if the president is told that stop this corruption so that this nation can progress, because if all the taxes that we pay, they go to waste. And not only that, now the money that is borrowed from outside also goes to waste. It is rooted. And then we start complaining, and instead of hearing us, you tell us that we are not being parented well. Me, I'm not a Gen Z, I'm a father. And I tell you openly, if my child is complaining on the streets, I'm truly telling you that I'll support that child because he has got a right. Already he's a grown-up. Again, I think the president does not know the age that a parent stop parenting. Because somebody who is 26 years is already another parent. How can you parent another parent? But they are the people now who are complaining because they cannot bring up those children that they have brought into this world.
Yeah.
So I think the president should be bold enough and say, this one has beaten me. I thought I know where to go, but Kenyans, please, I cannot make it. I'm defeated. And he gives us back our nation. Because that is the only solution. Because why don't he take the blame and gives us back our nation the way we gave him to lead? Because we went to elections. Me personally, I voted for him, and actually, I even prayed for him. But
Thank
today,
you,
even I don't pray for him. I don't. How can I pray for him to continue rooting the nation?
Okay.
That's my problem.
Thank
Kago,
you, Kago.
thank you.
Kago.
And you can call in
Yes.
on 0719-038-858. That's 0719-038-858. We'll put you in there. What's your conversation? If you were to have a sit down with the president today, and you wanted to have a sober, informed conversation, what would you tell him? Hussein Cairo says, Dear Mr. President, everything you need is in the Constitution. Why don't you just apply and implement the handshake, nusu mkate, now broad-based are not a solution to anything. Just assume that this is a company that doesn't need any losses. How do you make a profit while serving the customers and making them satisfied and ready to come back and advocate? Simple. No corruption, no misuse. Tell the truth. Your ways are off. You don't lead with good examples. You preach water and serve wine. Just say and do it, period. No more trips. Fix the house before you go anywhere else. LT says, Dear Mr. President, if I used to live on 100 shillings a day, then due to lack of competence, I now live on 250 shillings a day. Then later on, almost during the campaign period, you do your best and I can now live on 180 shillings a day. Did you make my life better in the end? I started at living on 100 bob a day, went to 250 a day. Then it has improved to 180 a day. Is that an improvement?
I don't know that it's an improvement, especially when you're up against everything else.
You'll go back to, you want to go back to the 100 or less, right? That would be the improvement.
Right.
Yeah, if you come back from 250 to 180.
To 180.
It's not.
Yeah. It's a setback.
Yeah.
I really like the sober
Don't you know that the 6th and the 8th commandments?
Jano.
I don't. I'll check.
Oh, no. Yeah, because Job Njiru says that Gen Zs are attempting to stop the breaking of the 6th and the 8th commandments.
10 commandments in the Bible. You shall have no gods before me. I'm trying to see if I can open one that actually lists them. Okay, you shall have no gods before me, number 1. Number 2, you shall not make any idols to worship. Number 3, you shall not take the Lord's name in vain. Number 4, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Number 5, honor your mother and father. Number 6, you shall not kill. Number 7, you shall not commit adultery. Number 8, you shall not steal. Number 9, you shall not bear false witness. Number 10, you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. Which ones did they say? Number 8?
6 and 8.
Okay. You shall not kill, you shall not steal. Yeah, it's like God started nicely to Moses. Then when it came to from number 6, the first ones are, don't use the Lord's name in vain. You won't kill, you won't steal, you won't commit adultery.
First ones were about him, then you went into parents,
then you went into
now
people.
into how you relate with
That's beautiful.
fellow humans.
Relate to one another.
So much more feedback. How about the public service vehicles that flaunt all the rules in that book? Is that good parenting? That's from Charles Ndongo. Okay. The police are, this is Derek Valentine. The police are parents themselves. You need not interfere with their work by suggesting what they should do.
Is this a question or a comment?
It's a comment. It's a statement.
It's a statement.
He's saying the police are parents themselves. You need not interfere with their work by suggesting what they should do. Shindigiti said, Mr. Miyagi's training started with making you clean the place. Mr. Miyagi from, what's that movie?
Not Karate.
Yes, it's Karate Kid.
Yes,
you're right. It's Karate Kid. Started with cleaning. That was the basics. I think he's speaking to a foundation there. Raphael says, investors who should be coming to Kenya are going to neighboring countries because the procedures are tedious and you have to bribe so many people. How do we expect the youth to get employment? The employment one is quite heavy for young people because it's a tax from all corners. I cannot find work here, or it's very hard to find work here. A year after graduation, 2 years, 3 years, you could still be tarmacking, looking for a job. And, just CV office to office. Then the other options that are given are not
guaranteed.
They're not guaranteed, that's one. 2, a lot of the work that is being pushed as, as exporting labor is not skilled labor. And that is not, no, actually that's a terrible choice of word. It's not, it doesn't require I'm looking for the politically correct term, because all labor is skilled labor, but I think you understand what I mean. So a lot of the jobs that people are being sent to are not what they are qualified for. So then it's underemployment of a sort. It's like, okay, why are we pushing young people into this as opposed to...
Is it kazi bora or bora kazi?
Bora kazi, that's the great question. And then is that also a solution for us not being able to employ our young people? That it's just like, okay, go do the work elsewhere.
In many ways, I want to come back into what Janet you said. I think it's how you communicate, getting to a realization that the people are at a certain point where they're disconnected with what you're doing. This is a promise, they connected with the promise. This is the action, they are not connected with the action. And instead of getting angry that they're not getting you, it's how about you think about how you can actually come and talk to them and reconnect them, promise into action, and into the delivery of the promise and what happens. We've got another call on the line. Yep.
Monica, yes. Good morning, Monica.
Morning, how are you?
Very well. Good morning. Homa Bay kukwaje?
Iko sawa.
Yeah. What is your contribution to Dear Mr. President?
I would just want him to be a real Christian. What we should avoid really is the corruption. And when it comes to communication, communication is a two-way traffic.
True.
Let him be humble. Otherwise, I recall something about Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, that God punishes those who are not faithful to him and who are oppressing others. So let him be a Christian. And I recall building a church in the States. David could not do it, but he left it for the son Solomon because he had already shed blood. So let him not tell us about building the church. I think the colonialists built it because there were no churches around the city. But today there are churches around the city, and somebody goes to the church they feel like going to. So you should not spend so much money while there are people suffering. God would not allow that unless he's after some other God.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, let him slow down corruption. He's working well, but he's supporting those who are doing wrong.
Right.
God will not allow that.
Before you drop, Monica, just before you drop, what do you think have been the biggest wins of President William Ruto's administration, the things that have worked since he came in power for you?
The biggest thing, I'm not seeing much because, when you kill your citizen, that one is really painful in my, sometimes I don't feel peace because of that. Killing the young people is very, very, very wrong. That is not a solution to anything. And our police brutality. So I'm not foreseeing what we have done. What I know is that they're talking about the agriculture section. But if you follow it keenly, you'll not find the figures they're talking about. When you look at the sugar industry, some of the companies, all the sugar factories are importing sugar to repack in their pockets. So it may not be really what we are seeing or what they are saying. Let them come to the ground and find out.
And see what's happening there. Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much for calling in, Monica from Homa Bay there. Giving biblical references, but largely speaking to, even in trying to answer Mariam's question, in a sense, it's really hard to hear the president over the cries of those who are losing their lives. It's hard. That's really loud. And so therefore that kind of derails anything else that his scorecard in the promises made.
Right.
There very many comments also that are coming in on WhatsApp, and we'll be sampling them shortly. Also looking at what you're saying on WhatsApp. What's our number? 0112 500 400.
There you go.
0112 500 400. Uweke simu hivi.
Is that your...
Oh, nituma message.
Is that your impression of me?
0112 500 400.
That's how it sounds.
Mariam is like, tutadome after this.
So just keep sending those messages there as well. And here what we are saying is, if you had an opportunity to actually have a conversation with the president, what would you tell him in terms of what you're going through? What are your pain points? What are you happy with? And what would you like him to do better? What would you like him to do less? What would you like him to improve on? This is it. It's this moment for us to exhale and just share this, because we've been having all these conversations as people, talk to the president, invite the president. And actually, the moment, and we constantly keep trying to do this, the moment we shall get an opportunity to have Fixing the Nation with President William Ruto, we'll sample some of all these questions and pose them to him and ask him.
Right. Looking at YouTube, so there's, when you look at things objectively, right, some of the things that have been implemented under Kenya Kwanza right? We need to ask the questions, and a lot of the times we ask the questions, but we do have to ask where they were coming from. And Emmanuel Templar brings a good point. It's true some things in Kenya require a reality check, such as the fact that NHIF and HELB were unsustainable in the long run. The problem is thieves took advantage of SHA to supply overpriced, us to supply an overpriced system. That's Emmanuel Templar. But I would like to actually get into this objectively and say, NHIF, would it have been sustainable? And if for us to provide universal healthcare for every Kenyan, did we have to move the system? HELB was in great debt. That's a fact, right? So then what would a university funding model that works have looked like? So two things can be true, that HELB was in great distress as it was, but that now we also have so many students who are being placed in the wrong band. Yes, and are unable to complete their higher education or to do it affordably or to pursue their courses of choice, that they have to downgrade or just abandon completely what they wanted to pursue. So those two things can be true. NHIF, was it sustainable in the long run? Could it have been turned into a machine for universal health coverage? Or did we need something new?
Yeah. Good point. The two truths. Before we continue, Eric, I know you're coming. I just want to give a heads up as to what's coming for your world in just a moment. Hey, love at first sight. This must be episode. This is probably
Love
part
at first
2.
sight.
This must be part 2. I think I heard Wikali and Winnie talk about this. So it's magic or science. Is it just our kind creating patterns or something more? So we'll have a few coaches come in here to give their thoughts. We also have a sociologist and researcher, a family therapist, and of course we have Mwikali and Winnie. That's coming up in just a few moments. Back to you in studio, Eric and Mariam.
Asante sana Janet ukiwa upande ule mwingine wa studio. Naam. Okay, before we get into the WhatsApp feedback, there's one here on X, Abu Van Jogona, who says, vile tulioelewana unafanya na vile unafanya tulielewana. Simple. Tunaelewana? Ama unasema nini jana ukiwa hapo studio?
Ama namna gani?
Vile tulioelewana unafanya na vile unafanya tulielewana.
That's straightforward. Straightforward.
Should we have some of the WhatsApp? Let's bring that up.
Not WhatsApp Nation, WhatsApp feedback. It's coming right on the screens, and then we can have a look. So good morning, Fixers. My note to the president. Maybe we can open that.
Yeah, let's open up the...
yes, just as it opens. Time and chance happened. I think I know that quote. I see, dear Mr. President, time and chance happened. Okay. ... Morning. I'm from Eshiwani, Mr.
I'm
President.
Eshiwani.
Oh, I'm Eshiwani, sorry. Build one industry in every ward instead of affordable housing. This will create millions of jobs. Wow, an industry per ward is expensive, but I see what you're speaking to. Affordable housing, a lot of people have said, I had housing.
It was fine.
I was okay. The problem is not the stealing. It is what the government is doing with such reports. When such reports are out, we will continue talking about this, but at the end of the day, all will be futile. So speaking to all, the Auditor General saying this is happening, this is happening. This has 3.7 billion has gone to 33 ghost schools. If there's no accountability, and Eric has threaded how many people it takes for you to get money for a school. If there's no accountability up that chain, we're doing nothing. Janu, do you want to read the next one?
Yeah, Mr. President, back in 2024, life was at least bearable, but now it's vice versa. Consider the reverse of the economy. Betty from Bondo. Okay. 2024, she's like just a year ago, things were bearable. Your Excellency, many Kenyans are suffering because of the high cost of living and poor governance. We urge you to tackle corruption, reduce unnecessary government spending, and implement policies that truly benefit ordinary citizens. Leadership must prioritize accountability, transparency, and the well-being of the people. Summed up to just capture everything that a lot of people are saying, I think. But thank you all so much for your Dear Mr. President notes and messages. They just continue to give us insights into what fixers are grappling with, all of us really, and also into what we want to see for our country, but especially what we want to see from the president. And I think that was a very important conversation to have.
Absolutely. Thank you. You're amazing fixers, guys.
Very.
Jano, Eric, you're amazing as
You
well.
too, Mariam.
Thank you. Tupatane kesho
Eric, please
asubuhi.
tell Mariam and I we're amazing. Sasa, this is the problem. Shida ni, we give each other compliments. You're just
Now,
like,
This modern day
it's-
parenting,
I know.
where every child must be complimented, or even the one
Miss
that comes
me with
last
that.
in class.
Participation trophy. Jano, it's okay. We'll just give the same flower. I give you the flower.
Yes.
You give
And
me.
then you pass
I
it
give
back.
you.
Yeah.
Give me. Hivyo tu. Asanteni. Kesho ni Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Hapo tutakuwa pale kileleni. Hash 6 to 10 a.m. Thank you so much for joining us. Tupatane kesho asubuhi.
see you.